Greetings, this is Pink Frog Yellow Boots from Behavior, working towards achieving holistic health for everybody. Our neighborhood is our primary community. They are the people we stay with, spend a considerable amount of time. The first we go to ask for help or be there for, those we have daily acquaintance with and social bonds with. Thus, it also becomes important that we set boundaries with our neighbors. We have previous videos where we discuss boundary setting. We will continue with the series on how to set boundaries with neighbors and what are the areas that are considerable. Any relationship that is not a passing relationship, that is something that's going to continue, needs to have boundaries in it. With neighbors, we share relationship of visiting each other, seeking help, sharing things. Also, their impact with lifestyle. As neighbors, they also have a lot of information about the family privacy and details of individuals in the family. However, it is important to realize that just because you spend a lot of time with your neighbors and they are always present beside you doesn't make them your friends. They are still social acquaintances at times. Here, there is no denying to the possibility that your neighbor can be your friend or best friend as well. However, each case may be different. In the society, however, there could be differences between the age gap of neighbors. Some neighbors might be elderly, some might be newlywed, some might have young kids, some might have infants, some might have kids who are college going, stay abroad, or stay away. Some might have kids who are going through important exams. The office timings, etc., all fall into this category of consideration when setting boundary. As neighbors, being the first community that we engage with, it is not just about your own comfort but also a general consideration about everyone's well being. However, that doesn't mean that we have to constantly put up with things that are burning us out, causing us immense discomfort. The idea of living in societies and with people is that they can be the support system to each other in our lives and in time of need. They also help us to develop cooperation, fill in the need for social engagement, sharing of knowledge and wisdom, bringing safety, having a reliable and dependable social structure, as well as developing accountability and acceptance. Thus, when setting boundaries with our neighbor, it is important we be considerate of ourselves as well as the others involved. Relatable examples is having a conversation with your neighbor who is partying while your child is having exam, or how friendly you are comfortable to be with a certain neighbor. How often do you visit each other? What is acceptable borrowing from sugar and salt to vehicles? Taking care of the elderlies or the children, about receiving mails and parcels. The awareness of the roles and responsibility as a community and as your position in the society also impacts how you're going to set boundaries. How much you share about your family, how much you gossip with each other, whether you do it or not, are things that you can set boundaries with. Ignoring or prolonging the problem that you have with a neighbor or a concern that keeps bothering you will ultimately create more problem. It is important that you have early confrontations. However, being open to understanding and have flexibility to reach a common ground with each other is important. There are times when it gets difficult to deal with a neighbor who doesn't want to compromise or adhere to being considerate of others. It is important that you see how your society tackles them. Reach out to the society committee if a neighbor is constantly violating your privacy in terms of physical space, family privacy, information, use of language. Be polite and respectful, however, be assertive. There may be specific incidences or situations that you might be dealing with. It is then important that you seek external help on how to deal with such a situation. Remember that boundaries are not rigid perimeters and there can be exceptions in time of need. For example, if there is a medical emergency or a theft happening, though you don't receive calls or guests after 10 p.m., you may still have to get involved. The very same as you might be partying every Saturday, Sunday and nobody has an issue, but sometimes if there is a exam of the child, that might have to be reconsidered and adjusted accordingly. Ignoring or disconnecting from your neighbors over petty issues is not an advised way of dealing with situation with somebody you're going to spend a future. We have societies where we stay for 15, 20, 50 years. So neighbors are going to be some people who are long term acquaintances. You can clearly communicate with your neighbors about how comfortable you are to receive or give something, what are the comfortable levels of volume during parties and festival, how you deal with each other's family privacy from a place of consideration and compassion towards each other. If there were specific instances where you need help, it is the best option to visit somebody credible to talk about it and involve people before things get out of hand. For more information, contact psychologists as they are people who can help you get through it if you are having a mental block on how to go about setting boundaries with your neighbors. Hope this helps. Have a great week ahead.